Hi, this is Rabbi Orlofsky with our special feature, our question and answer shorts. Yehuda Zimberg, longtime listener and contributor. Why was it that the Dor HaMabel and Ninveh were given chances, warning to do tshuva, but Sedom was not given the same opportunity? First of all, to say that Sedom wasn't given an opportunity is not completely fair, because Lot was there, and Lot was trying to influence them, as you see from the fact that in spite of the fact that it was considered a capital crime to do chesed, he was doing chesed anyway. When they were miraculously saved by Avram Avinu, miraculously, and Avram Avinu said, "You guys are so bad, I wouldn't take a shoelace from you people, because you're so bad." There was definitely a warning there. Eliezer went to visit them, and Medrash describes. There were warnings there. They understood that their philosophy was not acceptable in the eyes of Hashem. And so they were given certain warnings. But I would say that the warnings that were given to Sedom and to the Dor HaMabel, which are very similar, there's a lot of comparisons between the Dor HaMabel and Sedom. And that's why when Avimelech, Hashem says, "I'm going to destroy you and your people," he says, this is what you do. You destroy people for no reason. You destroyed the Dor HaMabel, you destroyed Sedom. Yeah, there was this sort of relationship between the two. There are comparisons made between Noach and Lot. There are a lot of different parallels between those two stories. Because Noach was not preaching, didn't get up on a pedestal. He built the Teva for 120 years, and when they asked, why are you doing this? He says, because Hashem's going to bring a Mabel and destroy the world. And it wasn't a active toichacha, it was a passive toichacha. But it wasn't like they didn't know. If you work out the years, Noach knew Mesushalach, and Mesushalach knew Adam. So it was very easy for them to find the truth if they wanted to. So they didn't get there. None of these people got the direct prophet comes to town, walks through the city, stands up on a rock, and gives them that musar. Start spreading the news. You've got 40 days before we blow the heck from you. Ninveh, Ninveh, if your ways you don't change, we'll drop a mountain range on top of you. Ninveh, Ninveh, da-da. I don't think that's what he actually sang, but I had a tekufa when I used to write song parodies, so that was one of them. Anyway, that the Navi actually comes. And you see that when Hashem tells Jonah, go to Ninveh and tell them to do tshuva, Jonah runs away. Because he knows they'll do tshuva. He says, you want to use me to beat up on the Jews? Because here all these Nevi'im came to the Jews and told them to do tshuva, they didn't. And I'm going to go into Ninveh, I'm going to tell them to do tshuva, and they'll all do tshuva, and then you're going to use that to beat up on the Jews. Sorry, not on my watch. Why was he so sure that Ninveh would do tshuva? What was going on over there? Ashur was a very special place. Yeah? Avram Avinu stood against the Dor HaFlaga at Migdal Bavel. He stood alone. Avram HaIvri, he was on one side, everybody was on the other side. I told you, Noach knew Mesushalach, and Mesushalach knew Adam Arishon. If you work out the years, Noach was still alive when Abraham was there. So how come Abraham had to figure out HaKadosh Baruch Hu on his own? Why didn't Noach tell him? Says the Medrash, Noach was hiding. Shem and Aver were hiding. Ashur, when he saw what Nimrod was planning, picked up his descendants and left. and said, we won't be a part of this. Ashur already separated from all the nations of the world at Migdal Bavel and went away. Which is why, when they were turning evil, instead of just saying, okay, well, they're your average evil nation, Hashem wanted to give them a special nevuah to come back, and they did. And Hashem had rachamim on them. Usually you don't get that option if you're one of the nations of the world. So Ashur as a nation was a very special place with tremendous potential, more potential than everybody else. Uvahu ha'ovdim me'eretz Ashur v'hanidachim me'eretz Mitzrayim. The Jews were taken away to Mitzrayim and to Ashur, and both of them have a number of links. For example, the Medrash says the king of Ninveh was Paro. He got spit out of the Yam Suf and he landed in Ninveh and became king. So when Jonah shows up, he says, what's going on? He says, well, there's this Jewish prophet saying that God's going to destroy the country. He goes, oh, no, not again. Trust me, guys, this guy is serious. You do not want to mess with this God. Okay, time to do tshuva. There's a relationship there. And we went into Gullus Bavel, and we're in Gullus Romi, but Gullus Ashur, these people never came back. We lost touch with them. We don't even know where they are. Nidachim, pushed away. So there's a special koyach to them where they have the potential for redemption. And that's why they got special treatment. This is Rabbi Orlofsky, and this is the question and answer shorts.